I will pick that up. So August 2006. Okay. So on the 1st of 2006, I watched the New Testament, What is the Truth? Sukhavati, Place of Bliss, a wonderful Joseph Campbell documentary. You have Lunch with Bokhara, God is Everywhere and Nowhere, The Unexplained, The Death Zone. I took more notes on Black Elk Speaks and listened to Surah 66 through 70 something, and A. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu. And on the 2nd of August 2006, I wrote out Surah 17, 108 through 109. Oh, 110, I guess. 18, 109 through 110. I watched Ancient Almanac, Cain and Abel, Latin American Virgins, Secrets of the Aegean, okay, I wonder what that documentary was. Oh, some documentary, I guess, about the celibacy movement, probably. I mean, a real celibacy movement, not this pretend one. Okay, I listened to Surah 7 through 9, H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu. I was listening to that one over and over again, I guess. So I watched Know Something. Oh, my writing is really messed up. 206 through Styrian ML. I wish I was reading. What was I reading? I can't seem to read that, sorry. So on the 3rd of August, I watched The Mummy of Imhotep. I read Surah 19 with the English and the commentary. 3:33 p.m., 3:26 p.m. I sat facing southwest. Something the crystal was around. Oh, I scried into the jade crystal with a 7th through 9th Enochian key. I closed my eyes and saw a blue that moved like and I went to sleep to something. And Mythos 1.3 on being human, ancient discovery, something about something medical or medicine related. Okay. On the 4th, I watched Lon Milo Duquette's Kabbalah for the Rest of Us, The Magic of Solomon, for anthropological purposes. I listened to Land of Magic. I went to the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Kutba. I read Atash Maya, Prashna Tantra. I watched Aleister Crowley, The Other Leckness Monster, Great Ideas of the 20th Century, and Masters of Darkness. So each of those are shows about Aleister Crowley. Magic of Solomon and some part of something. From the 5th, I listened to Surah 10. I watched in Land of Magic. I discussed with the Princess of Disc. I watched Lost Treasures of the Ancient World, Jerusalem. I watched Lon Milo Duquette, Tarot, Kabbalah, and Oracles for the Rest of Us. And listened to Sheikha Farah's talk in Pakistan. I guess there was a bunch of them, so I don't know which one. On the 6th, which was the Sunday, I listened to Land of Magic and Surah 18 or something. I watched Weird Travels, Mysterious on its Ancient Mysteries, Ancient Altered States. I guess that was on multiple times that year. I listened to some lectures on Jung. Oh, Gnostic lectures on Jung. I guess I didn't go to that Ek worship service. Ek God as a verb is how I meant it. I discussed with the Princess of Disc 3:33 p.m. to 3:49 p.m. was the sunrise to sunrise 60 ngatis are 20. Oh, this is notes. I scryed in the jade crystal with, what did I scry with? I don't remember. But remember that sunrise to sunrise is 60 gatis are 221,600 pranas. One gati is 360 pranas. One prana is 10 one-syllables. Lunar and 11. Okay. I watched Mysteries of the Bible, Herod the Great, Fact or Fiction, something. I read Surah 20 with the English and commentary. 3:33 p.m. to 5:18 p.m. I scried in the jade crystal, and there was white light when it was with the 11th through 13th Enochian call. There was fiery blues, and then I slept, and I watched, the Empire, the Moguls. I watched Warrior, Digging for the Truth, Ancient Society. Okay, I read with an orange. I scried in the jade crystal. I listened to Surah 12. And what does that say? 3:33 p.m. to 5:51 p.m. The 12th through 14th Enochian author and the jade crystal. On the 8th, I watched Hedi Elitis. I don't know what that's supposed to say. Mysteries of the Bible. Okay, Jesus in the Galilee. Lunch with Bokhara, Compassion in Action. 5 p.m. I scried with the Jade Crystal, with the 13th through 15th Enochian key. And I listened to Surah 13 through 17. I listened to my Vision CD from repeatedly, 1424, I think. It's 1440. It's the second of the 5th month. And Surah 21 is what I read. Took notes on Black Elk Speaks. A cloudy thing, a rumbly oracle. Okay. So from the 9th, I watched Mysteries of Tibet. Mystery of the Tibetan Mummy. English and commentary for Surah 22 was what I listened to. And okay, what was this presence? 5 to 5 scried in the crystal. There was a presence. White, faced like an animal, with the dark eyes. It then faced me. Even with the triangle south, my eyes got heavy, and I had to stop. Something about the west, southern, and I discussed with the next door neighbor something of some sort. And a particular conversation I was supposed to remember was someone from the masjid. The 16th through the 18th surah is what I listened to. Surah 10. I listened to the SSDT something repeatedly. I'm not sure what that is. Surah 19 through 20. I wrote out 1 John 2, 18 and 22, 4.3, and John 7. 2 John 7. The Antichrist verses. Okay. I watched Harun Yahya, the End Times and the Mahdi, End Times and the Golden Age, Dio, the Author of Selfishness, Becoming of a Third Will, author. I read Surah 23 with its English and commentary, and from the 11th of August, okay, maybe I should flip back for a second to see if I can read. Maybe not. So I watched Secret for Sages, Dentera. I watched most of Ancient Mysteries, Secrets. Secret Rites and Rituals. I listened to Surah 21 through 23. Spirituality Beyond Religion, 1 through 6. And what's going on here? Okay. I read Satya Adaka, Obmakas Ginadol Aspion. That's Surah. That's Enochian Author 7. And number 12, I watched Harun Yahya's Parish Nations 1 and 2. Prophet Musa, I wrote Surah 19, 56 through 58. I I scried into the Jade Crystal with the 17th and 18th keys, 2:22 p.m. to 2:37 p.m. Oh, I also wrote out Surah 20, 124 and 125. And there was also something from 4:44 p.m. to 5:04 p.m. And I started the sleep CD on Gregorian chants. I listened to Spirituality Beyond Religion, 7 through 8. And I listened to Surah 24 through something, through 26. Ask any questions, because I'm reviewing my experiences and the context that they occur in this journal in. And from the 13th, I listened to Surah 27 through 33. This is August 2006. I wrote out 21, 30 through 32. I read Sunket Anidi, discussion with that next door neighbor. Listen to Spirituality Beyond Religion 9 through 12. Okay, they're 11:04 a.m. A layered contained to that with, okay, there was electric red and electric yellow and blue and purple. And then there was a rumbling. And then I saw inside my wallet money apt appeared, maybe, I don't know. And there was a portal and 20 flew away. You know, money didn't fly out my wallet, but I saw something weird go on there. So some sort of psychic phenomenon with my meditation, because I was trying to live a meditative life. On the 14th, I watched most of Spear of Jesus, and I wrote out Surah 22, 16 through 18. From the 4:44 to 5:05 p.m., I looked up into the 7th, something with the 7th Enochian author. I looked into the Jade Crystal as I scried, and I read Surah. Okay, this light I can't see as well in. So on the 15th, I started my sleep CD on Liber 15, the Gnostic Mass, you know, the Aleister Crowley version, but which OTO Lodge put out that CD? I don't remember at the moment. It's been years, obviously. I watched Mysteries of the Bible. Other Romes? Oh, Old Testament heroines. Okay. I read Sri Jedika Lapu Para Sharis Dart. I watched Lunch with Bokhara, The Heart of Islam. Was that was a show on Link TV, wasn't it? I watched Lost Treasures of the Ancient World, The Great something. The Great Jamila. Link TV's Me and the Mosque. I listened to Surah 39 through 43 and Spirituality Beyond Religion 10 through 12. And on the 16th, I watched Ancient Mysteries, Sacred Waters of Lourdes. Am I pronouncing that right? Listen to Surah 43 for 48 and Spirituality Beyond Religion 4 through 9. And I was scrying with the 7th Enochian author. I watched Wild Child, Feral. It's interesting. For some reason, even if they don't seem to ever have human contact and literally run with the dogs, people wear clothes. I listened to I don't know, and I made some sort of sin offering. So the 17th, I listened to Surah 45 through 59. I read Surah 25 with the English and the commentary from 3:33 p.m. to 3:51 p.m. A lot of 3:33 p.m.s and a.m.s occur, more than their fair share, in times that I wake up or go to sleep or decide to perform a ritual. I scryed into the crystal with the 7th Enochian Aether again, and 4:44 p.m. to 5:06 p.m. I was heady and buzzy. Flashes between psychedelic lumps, and the crystal got bright, and the crystal was particularly dim then. The Ragnarok engine, I don't know about that, and I don't want to make up something, but there are certain devices and text and other things that can certainly prepare us psychologically for the end times. I took notes on the Black Elk Speaks. On the 18th, I listened to Surah 60 through 72, 10 through 12, and 1. Spirituality Beyond Religion, some selection of that. I watched Ancient Almanacs. I don't know. I don't know what the so I read Surah 26 with the English and commentary, and I started the sleep CD on My Music. The disc may not be valid, so I may not even be able to give myself an answer to what spiritual songs were on that. On the 19th, I read Teachings of Rumi and Surat 27. The Masnavi, translated in English and abridged by E.H. Winefield and commentary, page 1 through 75. I listened to the Great World Religions, Islam, 1 through 24. And I might as well... okay, that is a volume that I... Okay, so that's my section where the Rumi is. So on the 20th of August, one of the experiences. Well, as far as Satanism, one of the great things about a channel that I am sharing my comments from, I'm glad I saved them, is that guy talked about everything. I don't remember him talking about a specific Taoist or Confucianist take on Satanism, but he spoke across the board, atheistic, theistic, even commented on some of my, he even commented on made a couple comments on Quran videos on my channel, but I've been deplatformed on Facebook, so I can't contact Nagargle. I'm hoping he saved my personal contact. I suggested that he allow me to interview him for my channel. But yeah, that's what that playlist is. So I'm definitely responding to that movement. I have a paper coming out about Christian and Gnostic Satanism, what that would be. Yeah, I saw the Troll Talhead channel. So on that 20th, the Mathnawi, page 77 through 171, and the Great World Religions, Islam, 25 through 60. I guess I was listening to the CD version of that. Um, okay. Oh, this is an interesting experience here. Oh, I read Surah 28. Okay. Because see, this is 9 feet tall. There's this Buddhist idea that there's a being that's 50% taller and 50% wider than you, and you encounter it as your Buddha self, or you encounter it as it's the Buddha that you're supposed to. Thomas Leroy, I'm not familiar at the current moment. Yeah, the wide variety of mythology is something that you can take towards any side you want, really, to a degree. Well, I mean, it's all about your intention and the context you put it in. So there was the background around 10 p.m. after the late afternoon prayers from Juma. Okay, I don't. Okay, this is something else. Okay. Through a square of darker, through a square tunnel stood a blue Caucasoid, darker being. It was 9 feet tall, and it was mostly as asiatic. Oh, the head was more Caucasoid, but its body was sort of asiatic. And, okay, it was surrounded by a fire that was not aura-like. You know, auras aren't any you judge morally. Auras are the light, heat, magnetism, and moisture that comes off of living things, or can even surround inanimate things, but it's not, you know, it's not what a bunch of people are going to say it is. The fire around it was like, oh, it was a fire being. This was a jinn, Davos, Asuras, Awadriax, fallen angel, whatever you want to call it. These are beings with choice. So it's what a lot of people call gods and goddesses. But this one didn't necessarily give anything to indicate whether, you know, it wasn't a oh, it's in fire being blue and fire bling blue. Okay. So yeah, whether or not it didn't, there was nothing about it that said, oh, it was a demon. People are going to assume that, but anyways. So on the 21st, I listened. Oh, what did I do on the 12th? I shared on the 12th, but I thought I'd go in passing. The 12th is what Aleister Crowley called the first night of the Prophet and his bride, was the holiday, because that's when him and Rose Kelly. But anyways, on to the 21st. Listen to Surah 61 through 72, 73 through 114, and 155, 72, 85 through 84, through 144 twice. Aleister Crowley was one of the people who kind of helped me along my path, is because as I was speaking about in the other week, I was talking about Robert E. Howard as somebody kind of moved by something that he didn't quite, that was a little more than his society, but he wasn't quite aware of it. H.P. Lovecraft was really aware of it, but he didn't really make a spiritual path out of it. He didn't know how to control even the psychic side of these nightmares and stuff that he had at night. Some of it was not, it was waking state, apparently. And Aleister Crowley, he had the awareness and he could move with it, and he could work with, he had, Crowley worked with formulas from some Crowley books are over there. Most of what I've read massive amounts of stuff I don't even have copies of. Crowley could use formulas from Judaism. He could use Christian stuff. He could use the Quran. He could use Vedic stuff and obscure mythological points that even today might be hard to find. I wrote out Surah. The Great World Religions, Islam 61 through 72 was the tracks. So it wasn't Surah 61, 72. I wrote out Surah 22, 16, 17, 18, verses 16, 17, 18. And from 7:39 p.m. to 8:09 p.m., I did the Ruk Hawar, the Great Festival. It's an Egyptian thing. There was a frankincense scent offering. Frankincense on the Dibhutvan. The next door neighbor attended the ceremony, and we discussed after the meal ended, because there's a symbolic meal to that ritual. My holy offering bread, the honey and the things. I felt very buzzy all over till to the consummation of the ritual bread. And I guess the ritual drink. I lost the comments. Vampirism, before I talk about the second. So there's definitely ritual. The Urulu is like a papaya in Mesoamerica or South America. I don't remember exactly which Middle America's culture had this, but there was a plant that made it so you could actually consume blood without throwing up because it wouldn't congeal. And so there is ritual use for that. Certain demons will ask for that sort of thing to take part. There's the psychic vampirism, where people feed off of each other in one way or another. There's very deliberate of that sort. When I talk about a particular New Age religion, there's said to be a race that feeds off of the entities, the 973 minus one, because they deny their second living leader, their second historical leader. The Eshwar Kaniwalis are said to feed off the spiritual energy of that. And I think I've shared the experience where I witnessed to what I believe was an Eshwar Kaniwali hanging around the spiritual master, seeing back into like his speech, and the people who worship him and the other leaders, this feeds off of it. But it's not always malicious or demonic, the psychic and spiritual vampirism, but that Eshwar Kaniwali stuff is something I'm not particularly... I shared the experience on my responding to Ekankara, the New Age religion video. I know there's other New Age religions, but there's sort of a summary of them all, I guess, so I kind of bounce things off of there. I started the sleep CD on Sohutra Prabhuta. I listened to the Great World Religions, Islam 1 through 12, Surah 1, 55, 72, 85 through 114 twice. I watched Mysteries of the Bible, Magic and Miracles, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Strange Egypt, Lunch with Bokhara, The Monk and the Rabbi, and Unexplained UFO Cults. I'm going to try to get more people on my channel so it's just not me speaking. But the Tibetan book, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, remember, I'm going to try to share the rest of this, commentaries, correction. Budge oversimplified. He left out plurals. There's some other information I could add as I go along, but it's an old text. It's okay for me to say stuff about it. So when I'm done with this series, I'll return to that. And when I finish that book, I will probably get out another one of these and do another little series about journals. But it's interesting to meditate through these texts, or to do to ritualize them. Not necessarily you share their beliefs, but this is something cosmological or mystical that you're, or psychological or pedagogical or something that you're working with, but not necessarily in their way. So I guess you'd call that Luciferian, because you're using something to bring out light, but you don't necessarily have to adhere to their beliefs and practices. I have thought of I'm going to do something called the real State of the Union address or something like that. That's going to come out soon. So I'm going to do that before the fake one they have on TV. Well, I mean, that's what they call it, but you know what I mean. Because it's been a couple years since I've done a video like that, and I guess what's going on now without the persons and the an underlying theme. So what am I going to do with that? Okay, so on the 23rd, I started the sleep CD on Tibetan Book of the Dead. I listened to the Great World Religions 13 through 14 and Surah 1, 55 and 72 and 85, 100 through 114 twice. I had that selection set out from a previous year, so I would sometimes listen to that again and again. I watched Banned from the Bible, the middle half of the program. I watched World Tour, Lost Spirits of Cambodia, Angkor. There's an interesting spin-off of Islam that happened in Cambodia that's being replaced by actual Islam, that a ruler heard that Islam was spreading and tried to ban it. So they came up with something where outside of Ramadan, people stay out of the masjid. They have a goddess, they sort of have like a trinity with a god, they make God out to be a male, and then they have a female, and then they have the emperor as like the other one, and they have one group, one group says the female, the other group is like the male in the mythology, and there's some other differences. But anyways, I listened to Llewellyn's 12 Levels of Initiation, Paradoxes of Mysticism. Okay, Llewellyn. I have a book of his, don't I? Llewellyn von Lee. I used to listen to every lecture this guy would put out. I follow his YouTube page, the Golden Sufi files. I've listened to a lot of Sufi lectures, but this guy is kind of interesting because he's a follower of Irina Tweedy. Well, the late Irina Tweedy, but he sort of took over the... I don't remember what I was going to say with that, but initiations and paradoxes of mysticism. 12 levels of initiation. Well, they have 12 main degrees, don't they? So there's different systems like that. Okay, so on the 24th, I listened to Great World Religions, Islam 25 through 35. I watched most of Ancient Mysteries, Voodoo, Vodun, Decoding the Exodus. I made another video commenting on a particular book. I don't pronounce my French right, apparently, or my Haitian or whatever. Um, that's unintentional, but I tried to add more information and, basically, anyways. So I took notes for the sixth Enochian Aether and the first Enochian Call. On the 25th, I started the sleep CD on Aleister Crowley, The Great Beast Speaks. Wax disc recordings. I went to sleep vibrating the first Enochian key at 1:55 a.m. I watched Ancient Mysteries, Riddle of the Sphinx would be what but that's not the Sphinx. That's like Riddle of the Mate. I don't know. Ancient Almanac, The Rise of Christianity. I listened to Golden Dawn CD 1 repeatedly. I discussed something with the Princess of Disc. Absolute Truth. Was that something I watched? 285 through 286. I copied that out, Surah 2. And the second day, Enochian Call number 2 and 1:25 a.m. Oh, okay. I vibrated the second Enochian key and went to sleep. So on the 26th, I watched James, brother of Jesus. Jacob would be James in that language. Any of these J names, which kind of is interesting that if any of these Christians went back in time, that they wouldn't, they'd lead him to some Roman. They wouldn't lead him to Jesus or any of the other people in the Bible. Jehovah, who's Jehovah? We worship Yahweh here. Decoding the Past, Heaven and Hell, Mayan Doomsday. Listen to Surah 1 through 3 and 1 and 2. First and second Enochian Key, 4:04 p.m. to 4:41 p.m. Golden Dawn CD 2 repeatedly was what I listened to. I faced the lapis lazuli stone, being attentive to love in the dim sunlight. I took notes on Black Elk Speaks. 1:55 a.m. I went to sleep with the third Enochian Call, and I made a must scent offering. Prophecy. There was some show on prophecy. The 27th, I watched The Last Days of Jesus. I listened to Surah 4, Ancient Mysteries, Death Rites, and Consciousness of Hope. From 2:22 p.m., I scryed into a lapis lazuli crystal with, I guess it's not a crystal. This one right here. And Golden Dawn CD3, 248. I stared back in light, a musk scent offering, and the first through third Enochian key. And I discussed with the next door neighbor again. And I also talked to the Princess of Disc about, something spiritual. I wrote out Surah 22, 75 through 77. I went to sleep singing the fourth Enochian key at 11:55 p.m. I started the sleep CD on Giants of Philosophy, Friedrich Nietzsche, which is nowhere near as bad of a guy as some people would think. Okay, I'm coming to an end of this. On the 28th, I had a discussion with the next door neighbor again. I made some sort of burnt offering. I listened to Dynamics of Nothingness. The Cloud of Unknowing. The Cloud of Unknowing is like Aleister Crowley spoke. The true will, unassuaged of purpose, is that you fully give yourself over to something. So sometimes you got to ignore the path. I mean, sometimes you got to ignore the the outside influences that aren't what you're supposed to be, those 5 false egos, as they're called. It's not that you destroy your ego. That's a Western misconception. Read Surah Ankabut. That's 27, right? With the English and commentary, I wrote out 23, 51 through 54. I scryed into lapis lazuli with the 4th Enochian call at 6:06 p.m. and 6:16 p.m. There was whirling around the stone, and I watched building in the name of God, and the 5th Enochian call is what I went to sleep with. But let me give you a good show of the stone. I scryed in it to it till I saw this face, and I'll share the experience in a video by itself and show my drawing. But this is my lapis lazuli stone, and you see some calcite, you see a lot of calcite on there. But that is I like to have experience with what I have, and then to remember an experience, I'm like, okay, this stone, 11th through 13th Enochian or this, and I like to remember experiences and have a stone to mark it. But I also like to collect rocks, but it's not in the budget anymore. So I watched Building in the Name of God. Oh, I said that. So the 29th, I watched Science of the Bible, The Last Supper, Mysteries of the Bible, Samson and Delilah. Samson's sort of like a Greek hero sort of character, but he's not. But we have the same psychology, and people remember, they put importance to the same types of figures. It's not. Lunch with Bokhara, The Taoist and the Activist, and very buzzy, and I went to sleep. The Golden Dawn City 4, Awakening Awareness, something like that. I read Jaimini Sutra, meditated with, the 6th Enochian call, 11:55 p.m. was what I went to sleep with it. Oh, maybe the 5th and 6th. Okay. So on the 30th, I watched Ancient Almanac, Satan, Prince of Darkness. I've watched, just not the Nargargle channel. I've watched a lot of shows on a lot of different issues, and Satan and Satanism is definitely one of them. So why shouldn't I display my knowledge and my responses and my opinions through that list? So I went to Masjid as-Sabr for the early afternoon prayer. I discussed with certain brother from the Vancouver, Washington masjid. Probably lives at the same house, but I'm of course not going to tell that sort of stuff right now. I mean, I'm not going to tell people's locations and stuff like this on my channel. Not even. But I believe he's mentioned, or hinted at something in my accounts of retreat. So I watched The Dervish Project. The woman goes over her paintings. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention this in each video so it stands by itself. She goes over her paintings and she talks about the different states she's had and shares Sufi quotes, and well, some of them are standard Islamic quotes, but I meditated through it once. Oh yeah, the cats don't like it when the chickens show up. If you hear that in the background. Ancient Mysteries, something about shamans. I meditated through something once. Okay, what is that? Okay, I listened to Awareness, Dropped Off, and Golden Dawn CD 5. Okay, and the last entry before I switch off here. So I listened to The Love of the Real interview with someone. Golden Dawn CD 6, Surah 6 through 7. I stride into lapis lazuli crystal. Well, I guess I don't know if you'd call lapis lazuli a crystal. It's not as crystally as some of them. The seventh Enochian key, 3:33 p.m. to 4:05 p.m. And I put it on my forehead. Crowley would put like symbolic jewelry or stones and stuff on his forehead, so it's actually a technique that works pretty good. I lied down for a little bit. There were streaks of light, blurry, and I was feeling by the time this, and we were finished. Oh, and I felt very refreshed and still buzzy. And I wrote out Surah 24, 26, and 30, and the 8th Enochian Athar was what I would have went to, key was what I would have went to sleep on, but September 2006, maybe that would be tomorrow, maybe that will be days from now, but let's, if there's any comment and question, yeah, doing ritual for itself. If anything, we die or mice should die. Oh, Tweety. Oh, I watched or listened to something with Rini Tweety. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what, but yeah, it's important to learn how to do the practices and the studies and all that for itself. And then the development and the experience comes through to a greater degree. You just surrender and, you just let the whole thing be an experience.